guys, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about 5 money lessons I wish I knew when I was younger. Over recent years, I've learned to budget, pay attention to what I spend my money on and my spending habits as well. But there are still a few things I wish I knew because I feel like it just would have made my life a lot easier in certain aspects. I'm going to be telling you all of that in this video. Creating a budget is probably the least of your concerns right now, but I would really advise you do it because it's a lot more easier to manage your finances when you know what money is coming in and what's going out and you know exactly what you're spending on. A budget isn't always about saving. Sometimes it's actually about getting to the point where you're a lot more disciplined with your finances, and to me that's what budgeting is about. Having a budget isn't just about saving money, but it's actually getting to the point where you're just a little bit more disciplined about the way you spend your money. I have a lot of clothes, I still have things with tags on that I have never worn and I'll probably never wear because I didn't really pay attention to what I was spending my money on. I ended up buying a lot of things in the past that I simply no longer need. The second lesson I've learned is to have an emergency fund. Life happens and life can be very unpredictable sometimes. In the event you lose your job, if your car breaks down, if you have to make an emergency trip somewhere, or if something comes up that just urgently requires money. Sometimes it could even be an investment, like an investment could come up and you might just urgently need to put some money forth to make something back as well. Having an emergency fund is very, very important when you live on your own because you realize that your rent has to be paid and certain things have to be paid no matter what happens. Even if you lose your job, your landlord is still expecting to be paid. It's also important to have an emergency fund even if you live at home, just in case anything happens. Third thing I wish I knew is the fact that credit cards are not free money. When you first start getting into the idea of having a credit card, it's easy to actually get carried away thinking it's free money, but the truth is you have to pay back what you spend, and sometimes with a lot of interest because a lot of these credit cards have very high interest rates. You have to pay back whatever you spend, so it's important to actually make sure that you're spending what you need and you're not relying on that credit card to fund your lifestyle, because a lot of people have found themselves in debt because they relied on their credit card to fund their lifestyle. Like, you can't rely on your credit card to fund your lifestyle. Fourth thing, which is quite important, is to save for your retirement. It's so important to save for your retirement, especially with the way the UK is going. In a couple of years time, the retirement money you're going to get from the government will not be a lot. Saving up for your retirement will ensure that when the time comes you have something to rely on, and it's so important because sometimes you forget. I think if you work in the corporate world as well, a lot of the companies actually match whatever you put in your pension, and I think it's such a great thing to take advantage of. If you work in a corporate world, just put it, even if you put 1% of your annual salary, I think your company could match it up to 5%. I know when you're young you just can't picture retirement right now, and sometimes we think we have time, but the truth is you don't have time. We don't have a lot of time. So if you can afford to save for your retirement, I think it's so important to save for your retirement. A lot of the time when you work in the corporate world, you're able to invest in their share schemes, share saves and things like that, because it's a good way to save money because they take out the money before it even gets into your account. So if you work in a company that allows you to buy shares and sell shares, I would definitely recommend that you sign up for this scheme as well. The last thing I just want to highlight is the fact that giving is good. It's actually good to give. I think sometimes we get so carried away with the fact that we just have to save that we forget that giving is good. Sometimes buying a stranger a coffee is good to help people. It's not even about other people helping you in future, but it's just good to give. Sometimes, the smallest thing you give can change someone's life and can make someone's day. So it's very important not to get carried away with just save. Do you get what I mean? And also just to remember that it's also good to give. Leave your comments below. Let me know if you have any finance lessons you wish you learned when you were younger, or you wish you knew when you were younger.